Hey, what's up you guys, it's Connor, and today I'm going to be doing a book review for The Emerald Blade by Steven Kelliher. If you guys don't know, this is the second book in the Landkist Saga, and I did a review of the first book, and I'll leave that up in the card symbol if you want to check it out. I need to find out a way to hold this without it being shiny. The Landkist Saga is a high fantasy, kind of maybe turning into epic fantasy series that is set in this fantasy world where it is run by these people called sages. Sages have immense powers and are able to really control different groups of people because they're so powerful. The people don't really have a choice. There are humans that have developed powers, and they're called Landkist, and there are different types of Landkist. Ones that are chosen from the desert are embers, and they can wield flames on their swords. Landkist from the valley, which is where the first book takes place, are what's called Fakin, and they have healing abilities. And there's also Rockblood, and they control the earth, and then there's also oracles and stuff. So there's a lot of different types of magic going on, and basically it's about the Landkist and the humans trying to rise up and be free of these sages. Again, if you want more of my thoughts on the first book, check out that review. As usual with my book reviews, I'm going to go through my pros, go through my cons, give you my rating, and be done. My first pro for this book is that I really love the world expansion. We really get to learn a lot more about the world outside of the valley, and specifically we really focus in on this one part of the world called Center. It's a huge forest. It's a forest that has different layers. It's almost like forest on top of forest, so there's branches, and because the branches are so thick, soil has collected on the branches, and then trees have grown from branches of other trees. So there's like trees on top of trees on top of trees, that kind of thing. That was really cool. And learning about these different people and how they live in Center versus how the people in the valley lived was very interesting. And you also learn about some of the cultures and stuff that are not in either of those two places, people that live in between big hubs of society. So with learning more about a different part of the world, there's also going to be different types of Landkist. So I really enjoy the different types of Landkist that we got in this novel. The willows and the wraiths are so cool. The willows have abilities to like see from trees, and then the wraiths are able to control animals and stuff like that. So it was really cool to see this new magic introduced and how each Landkist has a different level of power. I just really love magical abilities, so I really enjoyed the magic system in this book. With that, you get to meet someone called the Emerald Blade. I really enjoyed meeting that character. I thought that he had a quiet strength about him, and I just really loved him as a character. I thought he was really interesting, and his motivations behind everything that he does was awesome, and I really loved seeing how he interacted with our main characters from the first book, as well as his own people that are living in Center with him. In this book, we also get more history of people interacting with the Eastern Dark, which is like the main bad guy of the series, and I thought that that was really interesting as well, because it shows that a lot of these people end up having these ties to the Eastern Dark for different reasons, and most of the reasons are good and honorable, but then they just end up being evil because Eastern Dark. So I loved learning more about the history of this world and how everything is starting to come together, and the sages and the Landkist, and it's just a fun time. And my last pro I'm going to talk about is that it was just very, very action-packed. After a certain point in the book, it's just like full-on skirmishes the entire time, and it is so fast-paced and so much fun. Now I'm going to talk about some of my cons. Until you reach that one point where it just becomes super fast-paced and a ton of fun, it is very slow moving. For 145 pages, nothing really happens, and it's just frustrating. The characters are just dawdling around, and I just wanted them to get on with it and go to Center and start fighting, you know? You also don't follow all the characters that you followed in the first book, so I was just curious on what was happening to them. Like, what were they doing for this entire book? It doesn't take place over a very long amount of time, but I still wanted to know what was happening to these other characters. I know that they're in the third book because I just got it and I flipped through and I saw some of the names, so I was like, oh, okay, there they are. But you don't really follow them in this book, which was sad. A personal con for me was that I had forgotten a lot of the things that happened at the very end of the first book. I remembered everything up until like the last big battle, so it took me a while to get my head around all the characters' names and what was happening again. And my last con is that there were a lot of typos and stuff. So instead of she, it would be her, and small little errors like that that would push me out of the story for a second before I jumped right back in. So overall, I really enjoyed this second book in the series. I ended up giving it 4 stars because of all my pros and just a couple of those cons I had. I'm really excited to jump into the third book because, as I said before, I already have it, so I'm going to be jumping into that one at some point soon. If you really like fast-paced, action-packed, action-packed, fight-dominated fantasy, I definitely recommend this one. So that's going to be my review on The Emerald Blade by Steven Kelliher. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up and comment down below if you've read this series. Have you read Valley of Embers? Are you interested in reading it now? If you have read it, what kind of Landkist would you want to be? Because I definitely think that I would want to be a Rockblood. Anything else you want me to know, leave it down below, and I will talk to you guys next time.